This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, the Jackson Fire Department was awarded a grant to pay for a new rescue boat. The grant was given by the United States Department of Agriculture, which announced more than $800,000 to help communities in rural Kentucky. The rescue boat was delivered a couple of weeks ago. Firefighter Joshua Howard says they were in need of this after major floods 2 years in a row.
Then as this flood hit, that one got destroyed. We got another one out of the insurance, and we turned around and got the USDA grant for the boat we have now, which is more along the lines of what you would see at Winchester, Clark County.
He says that they learned how to use similar rescue boats from different counties that helped in both the 2021 and 22 flooding. Nearly 11 months following the flood last July, we're seeing more and more groups make their way back to eastern Kentucky, including one that's been in Knott County this week, all the way from Nebraska. 41 people from across the state loaded up and drove more than 16 hours to help as many people as they could.
People lose hope in these types of situations, and that's a good reason we're here, is to show people that people still care. People still know about them. People are seeking to help them.
This is the group's second time here in the mountains since the flood last July. WYMT's Olivia Calfee will have more from volunteers tonight at 6. A project 20 years in the making is now lifting off. Air Evac and Appalachian Regional Healthcare collaborated to provide a medically equipped helicopter located at the Wendell H. Ford Airport in Perry County. The president of ARH says in a statement it's a top priority to provide quick and excellent emergency care for the eastern Kentucky and southern West Virginia residents. Air Evac Regional Director Janie Ward says this project helps fulfill that priority.
This is a little larger aircraft. It has a little more capability. It's a little faster than the ones that we normally have. So we work together, and this aircraft would not be here in Hazard without that cooperation and collaboration with the ARH Health System.
Ward says the shared values led to the partnership, and their goal is to get patients where they need to be as quickly as possible. We'll have more information about the new aircraft later tonight. One Southeast Kentucky community hosted a parade this morning for a high school baseball team's historic run in the state tournament. Teachers, friends, family, and some Whitley County baseball alumni lined up along Main Street in Williamsburg to cheer on the team ahead of their Final Four matchup tomorrow evening. Whitley County baseball alumnus Donnie Roberts says this is a special moment for their community.
This is great to see all that the county and the folks in the county has done for this team to promote them, you know, and encourage them. And it's quite a day for the Whitley County school system.
Supporters were decked out in school colors, held up signs, rang cowbells, and local stores decorated their windows, all in support of the Colonels. We'll have more on the community support tonight at 6.
And a beautiful day for it with plenty of sunshine, beautiful temperatures. I mean, it really does not get better than this as you work through the month of June. Today is just about perfect. Here's the view outside from our studios here in Hazard. 72 the current reading. You notice plenty of sunshine. Excuse me, just a little bit of that haze from the Canadian wildfire smoke, which we'll talk a little bit more about here in a second. It's still kind of lingering over Pikeville, upper 60s to near 70 there at the moment from our Pikeville Medical Center camera, but plenty of sunshine still. You notice one more kind of wave of that smoke working on through, but you still see parts of the megalopolis from New York to Philadelphia, even into D.C. and Baltimore, seeing plenty of smoke, and I think we're not completely done with it. The heaviest smoke right now in parts of west central Pennsylvania. Pinpoint Doppler's a clean sweep at this point, and we'll continue to see dry weather through the rest of today. Everybody is in the 60s or 70s, upper 60s Clintwood, and even low 60s in Wise. Everybody else in the low to mid 70s, so it is a gorgeous afternoon in progress. Well, your breakfast forecast as we head into tomorrow, already looking pretty nice. How about upper 40s to near 50 with beautiful sunshine to start, just fair weather clouds tomorrow afternoon. I'll have the very latest on that beautiful forecast tonight, and another day like today on the way tomorrow in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Major cities across the United States are dealing with hazardous air quality conditions this week. That as smoke from Canada's overactive fire season gets pushed south. New York City just yesterday recorded the worst air quality in the world. Today, the smoldering blanket of smoke-filled air is causing major problems for those in the D.C. metro area. Gloria Pazmino is there with the latest.
Very, very scary, just walking down the street and feeling like I'm going to have an asthma attack. I feel that's how bad the air quality is.
Millions of people across the eastern half of the U.S. are under air quality alerts as smoke from the wildfires in Canada blankets U.S. cities.
It feels like I'm at a campfire that I don't want to be at, and there's no s'mores.
Smoke-filled skies are impacting areas from Boston to New York and Washington, D.C., and as far west as Minnesota and as far south as the Carolinas. Areas surrounding Washington, D.C. are expected to see the worst air quality beginning Thursday morning. On Wednesday, the famous Manhattan skyline resembled something out of an apocalyptic movie, with the sun almost completely blotted out.
This is the worst air quality we've experienced in over 20 years. This is hard to breathe right now.
The air quality in the area was recorded as the worst in the world Wednesday, with people urged to stay indoors or mask outside. School activities and professional sporting events around the Northeast were canceled.
Simply stay indoors. Outdoors is dangerous in just about every part of our state, not just vulnerable communities, but literally everyone.
In Washington, I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
Nearly 24 train cars derailed late last night in Arizona. A BNSF train derailed just east of Williams around 11:20 last night. Officials say 23 cars derailed and were heavily damaged. The train was carrying new cars, trucks, and vans. No one was injured in the derailment, and the cleanup is underway. There's plenty of pollution in the world, thanks in part to many of the top businesses around the globe. A new report from ESG Books shows most of these big companies are either expected to add to global warming or are not revealing data on their greenhouse gas emissions. Researchers also say less than 25% of these corporations are following the Paris Agreement. That focuses on lowering global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius higher than pre-industrial levels. The CEO of ESG Books says more needs to be done. Eurozone slips into recession after revised data shows 2 quarters of economic contraction. The 20 countries that use the euro as their currency fell into mild recession around the turn of the year, although the broader European economy avoided the downturn. In the first quarter of the year, gross domestic product dropped in the euro area compared with the previous quarter. A recession is defined as 2 consecutive quarters of economic contraction. In France, 6 people, including 4 children, have been injured in a stabbing attack. Police say the attacker is a man and he was armed with a knife. He was taken into custody shortly after the attack. French President Emmanuel Macron has described the attack as absolute cowardice. This morning, lawmakers in the French National Assembly observed 1 minute of silence for those injured. As Ukraine and Russia accuse each other of being responsible for a dam collapse, Ukraine has now begun investigating the destruction as a war crime and possible, quote, ecocide. Fred Pleitgen is in the flooded Kherson region and witnessed firsthand the rescue mission underway.
Raging floodwater with whole towns submerged. This Ukrainian military drone video purports to show a family trapped in a Russian-controlled village pleading for help. But all the small drone can do is drop a bottle of water. We went on a rescue mission in Kherson, where the water levels are still rising.
So these guys tell us that they've been at work here since last night. They said the work during the night was extremely difficult and that they're really tired, but of course, they have to keep going.
They found this house abandoned, but rescued 3 kittens. Roman Skandrakov tells me the volunteers face Russian shelling on nearly every sortie. Of course, it's extremely dangerous, he says, especially today. It's very loud. Russia and Ukraine continue to blame each other for the destruction of the Novakhovka Dam and hydroelectric power plant. The Ukrainians say on their side alone, hundreds of thousands are without normal access to water and nearly 2,000 homes are underwater. while the rescue efforts are hampered by the near constant artillery and mortar barrages. Look, we're working despite the possibility of us being shelled. We're taking risks every day, Ukraine's interior minister tells me. We understand that this is war, and it is very difficult to completely avoid a drone or incoming missile. And that dangerous work is far from over. The authorities here say they expect they'll be busy all night getting more people to safety. Fred Pleitkin, CNN, Kherson, Ukraine.
Coming up on First at 4, the National Weather Service says El Nino is back.
And plenty of